Welcome to LinkedIn 80/20, getting more results with less effort. The biggest complaint I hear from my students and clients is they just don't have time for LinkedIn. They don't see the value and they don't know how to use LinkedIn, so they just avoid it. Today I'm going to show you why you can't ignore LinkedIn. People are looking for on LinkedIn and it's become the place for business people to connect. I'll show you how you can use it effectively by spending just a few minutes a day by applying the 80/20 principle. I'm Ted Prodromou, author of Ultimate Guide to LinkedIn for Business. I'm also the author of Ultimate Guide to Twitter for Business from Entrepreneur Press. I'm also a frequent contributor to Entrepreneur.com and Entrepreneur Magazine. Today in LinkedIn 80/20, getting better results with less effort, I'm going to show you the power of LinkedIn and why you can't avoid it any longer. You need to be on LinkedIn. I'm also going to show you the power of 80/20. We all know the 80/20 principle. 20% effort gives you 80% of the results. So I'm going to show you the basics of that and how powerful it is. Then I'm going to show you how to use the 80/20 principle with LinkedIn so you can spend just minimal time every day on LinkedIn and get maximum results. So let me share my LinkedIn story with you. I started working in the technology industry in 1980. I worked for Digital. They were makers of a mini computer, which was the first computer that actually could be in your office. The only computers that existed before that were the IBM mainframes, which were in large data centers. So Digital revolutionized the computer market, and they also played a major role in inventing computer networking, way before anyone else was networking computers together. So I spent 9 years with Digital, actually 10 years. And then late 1980s, I started working for Cellular One when they were starting up. I was one of the first 40 employees, and that was back in the day when cell phones were bigger than a brick and heavier. So very few people had them. They were very expensive. But in the 7 years I was there, they grew to over 1,200 employees, and they surpassed over 100,000 subscribers in that period. Today, obviously, everybody has cell phones, and they told us that day would be coming where everyone would have their own cell phone, and we just laughed at the time. But their vision 20 years ago came true. After Cellular One, I went to work for IBM as a consultant. I would fly around the country, meet with business executives, get their business ideas, and then I would design computer networks so they could achieve those business objectives. I really liked that job, except the fact that I was traveling constantly. And with 2 small children at home, it was really, really hard. I would fly out every Sunday afternoon, and I would arrive late home Friday night. So I saw my kids very little during that time. So that's when I decided it was time for me to start my own business. I started setting up computer routers and firewalls and getting people connected to the internet in the late 90s. And that's when everybody was getting on the big boom on the internet. Everybody had to be on the internet. So I would just mention the word internet, and people would throw money at me. So things were going just great. Business took off like a rocket from 1980, 98 through late 2000. Things were just unbelievable. Then the dot-com bubble burst, and literally the 20-year career I had in technology disappeared almost overnight. I couldn't go back to my old job as a field service engineer or a system administrator or network administrator because all those jobs were either outsourced overseas or the pay had dropped from 6 figures down to literally like $10 or $15 an hour. And there was 500,000 people fighting for jobs in Silicon Valley at the time. So it was very, very difficult. That career disappeared. So I had to reinvent myself. In 2002, I started another business. I was doing websites for small business owners. And also I discovered I need to learn how to market. So I started taking a lot of marketing classes, which led me into internet marketing. And it led me into search engine optimization and pay-per-click. So my business took off from 2002 through 2008. It took off like a rocket again. I was working with a lot of great businesses, helping them drive more traffic to their websites. I was building websites that converted that traffic into customers. Things were great. 2008, the economy collapsed. What happened? My business disappeared. I had lots of small clients, but we all know, large and small businesses stopped spending money from 2008 till about 2011 when the economy tanked. So I was back out there trying to figure out what to do next. Luckily, I was looking for clients on Craigslist, which I would do frequently, and I saw a job posting. And it was a job that was actually 5 miles from my house, which I never had before. I always had to commute at least an hour. So I applied for this job as an online marketing analyst and search engine optimization analyst, and I got the job, which really surprised me because at the time I was in my early 50s. I mean, nobody gets hired in technology when they're over 30, it seems like, but I got that job. It was an ideal job. For 3 years, 3.5 years, I got to do pay-per-click marketing around the world, search engine optimization on different websites all over the world. It was an incredible learning experience, and I learned incredible. It was fantastic. The company grew from 25 million to 100 million, and then it decided to outsource marketing to an agency. So here we go again. Got laid off again. The whole marketing department was replaced by an agency. So I found myself starting over once again. So 3 times in 13 years, the rug was pulled out from under me. And I'll be honest, I was feeling like a failure. I was in highly successful careers. I worked in the greatest industries, worked with the best people, but it seemed like I just couldn't keep a job or keep a business going because things changed so fast or the economy tanked. I was just on this roller coaster and I was just, get me off of this thing. I'm sick and tired of this. So I really took a look at my business and why they were failing. And it turns out my businesses rode the same cycle as the business cycle. We would go through expansions, my business would expand. Then when the recessions would hit, I wasn't prepared. So we'd go into a trough and I didn't have recurring revenue. I didn't have the business structured right to keep it going through the tough periods. And it was just, that was my roller coaster, up and down, up and down. So what I did, I knew I needed to recession proof my business. Just, I didn't know how to do it at the time. And I love to watch webinars. I watch so many webinars. I'm a webinar junkie. I'm always learning, constantly learning new things on the internet and going to classes. So I saw a presentation and it said, what if you could predict how many new clients you'd have each month? I thought, great, I'd love that. And what if you could get as many new clients as you wanted whenever you wanted? I said, sign me up. What do I do? It's like turning the faucet on when you needed clients, turn it off when you don't need clients. And I only work with 3 or 4 clients at a time, so I'm not looking to build a huge business at this stage in my life. I'm looking more for the lifestyle perspective. So I'd like to keep 3 or 4, maybe 5 clients going, and then I turn off the faucet. That would be perfect. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Or impossible. So I decided to try a little experiment. And all of the know me, I'm always experimenting. I always buy products when they first come out. I buy technology way before it's really ready. I love to play with it. I don't mind. I'm one of those bleeding edge people. I don't even wait for the leading edge. I'm bleeding edge. So I want to try a little experiment. I'm constantly testing things and figuring out what works best. So I was going to spend 30 minutes a day creating clients on demand using LinkedIn. So the criteria was I was going to spend 30 minutes a day for 30 days. And my only goal was to help as many people as I could in that period. I wasn't going to try to sell anything. I was just going to answer questions, share information with them, and just help people that were reaching out for help. So my experiment worked way better than I imagined. So here are my initial results. So the number of times I appeared in LinkedIn searches increased 120%. So everyone knows LinkedIn is a giant business-to-business search engine, like Google. You type in keywords, or you type in skills that you're looking for, and you want to appear at the top of that search result. So mine increased 120%. Number of times my profile was reviewed by others increased 150%. That's the ultimate goal for LinkedIn. You want people to view your profile to learn more about you if you're in business for yourself or if you're looking for a job. The goal is get people to look at my profile to learn more about me. the number of people reaching out to me to connect tripled. Now that's big because in the past, I would reach out to a lot of people and some would reach out to me, but for the most part, I was reaching out to people I wanted to connect with. That totally reversed now. I rarely have to reach out to connect to people. People are always finding me and asking to connect with me. So I'm very picky. I can picky about who I connect with. I don't really want to connect with everybody. I want to connect with the right people. So this is even bigger. This is the number of people emailing and calling me after connecting quadrupled. Now, I always make it a habit of when I connect with somebody, I send a personal message in the connection. I don't use the canned messages from LinkedIn. I send a personal note. And then when people do connect, I send another note to them back. Just 2 or 3 sentences. Hey, thanks for connecting. Let me know if I can help you. Just some kind of greeting, a personal greeting. And people started doing that back to me. And a lot of people were even calling me in my office. They actually looked at my profile and found my phone number and called me to reach out and see, if there's any synergy between us. That was tremendous. And here's something I totally didn't expect. Traffic to my website increased over 400% during this period that I did this testing. Now I don't get 10,000 visitors a day or 100,000 visitors a day to my website, but it increased significantly. And there's a direct correlation between my LinkedIn activity and the amount of traffic coming to my website. So I considered this test very successful. And I picked up a couple new clients without even trying. I literally wasn't asking for clients. I wasn't promoting myself. They reached out to me and said, hey, I'd love you to help me out. So now I have predictability in my business. So whenever I need new clients, I can just ramp up the business. I'll be able to ride out these storms. I know how to reach out to people on LinkedIn now and connect with people to drum up business even during slow periods. So how do I create these customers? Using LinkedIn effectively, not just logging in and wasting time. I've created a structure that works for me. And throughout the rest of this webinar, I'll be showing you different ways you can reach it. So everybody has to create their own plan that works for their niche market. But it can be done very successfully with 15 to 30 minutes a day. So let me start out by talking about the power of LinkedIn. It is the most underutilized website, I think, on the internet. People just think it's a resume site. You post your resume. Most people don't complete their profiles. They rarely log in. They just don't know that over the last couple of years since LinkedIn went public, they have completely revamped the site and made it much more interactive and engaging. They just surpassed 259 million members. So I'd say by this point, they're over 260 million. They're adding more than 2 new members every second. It's the fastest growing website on the internet. It's going much faster than Facebook and Twitter and Google+. Executives from every Fortune 500 company are on LinkedIn. 53% of business-to-business marketers have acquired a customer through LinkedIn. Now think about that. More than 50% of the people that actually used LinkedIn got a customer. And this is from a HubSpot survey. So 83% of online business-to-business marketers use LinkedIn. And 53% of business-to-consumer use LinkedIn also. This is from HubSpot. That's saying business-to-business marketing people see the power of LinkedIn, so they're using it extensively. 61% of social media users use LinkedIn for professional networking. 22% use Facebook and 4% for Twitter. It's a lot harder to do business-to-business networking on Facebook and Twitter, where LinkedIn is the place for business people to connect. This one blew me away. 81% of LinkedIn users belong to at least one group, and 52% of them actually participate in group discussions. Now there's almost 300 million members, so you're looking at quite a few people participating in these group discussions, and these are experts in their field. A lot of really high-quality discussions go on in these groups. So it's the perfect place to go engage people in conversations. to establish your credibility. Here's another surprising statistic. This is from the Integer Group. 65% of journalists use information on LinkedIn as research material. This is telling you they trust the information on LinkedIn. It's become an authority site. And just last week, I got a call from a New York Times reporter, and he interviewed me about LinkedIn and finding a job. So I'm actually going to be in the New York Times because he found me on LinkedIn. 77% of LinkedIn members use this site to research people and companies. It's become a portal for interesting, and people put real information on LinkedIn. They don't make up stories like on dating sites. It's real information about these people and the companies. 69% of the members reconnect with past business associates, which this is what happened after the dot-com crash. I had 20 years worth of business contacts that I lost touch with, because in those days, we had Rolodexes. We didn't have cell phones with address books in them. People didn't have cell phones back then. When I called someone, you called their company. That was the only number we had. We didn't have their home numbers. We had their email addresses for that company, but when those companies went out of business in the dot-com crash, I literally lost my entire business network of 20 years. So LinkedIn helped me reconnect with all these people. And 50% of LinkedIn members are there to build new business networks. And I do a lot of that. I'm building a really nice little business network of associates. So 43% of employers use social media to recruit, and 88% use LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is replacing the job sites even, because companies are posting jobs directly on there, and they're able to look at people's profiles as they apply for the jobs and make quick decisions right then and there if they're qualified. 46% of people using Facebook and 22% for Twitter to recruit. And I do see some job postings on Facebook and Twitter, but there's nothing more powerful than LinkedIn, where you can just click on a person, see their profile, see their whole business history, and learn everything you want about them. That's why it's so important for you to finish your profiles and make it very complete so people get the big picture of what you can do for them. This was in Forbes a month or so ago. 9 out of 10 C-level executives are using LinkedIn at least once a week. They said they log in. They're fascinated by how fast it's growing and the quality of the information there. They're spending probably about an hour a week, they said. But that's significant when C-level executives are actually logging into a social media site to participate in the conversations. 87% trust LinkedIn as a source for decision making. It's, like I said, this is becoming an authority site for business to business networking. People trust the information on LinkedIn even more than when you go to a company website. You can go to a Fortune 500 website and read information, and people won't trust it as much as information they're reading from LinkedIn. So I see 49% find LinkedIn a good source for word of mouth information on brand experiences. If you're looking to buy a product or do business with a company, people are going to LinkedIn to ask people, hey, how is this XYZ company? Are they reputable? Is their product good? How's the service? They're going to LinkedIn to get this information before they invest in the companies. So this has become one of the most trusted authority sites on the internet. And it wasn't like LinkedIn set this as a goal. It just occurred as people put more and more quality information on there. And a lot of these enhancements they've done over the last 2 years is the reason for that. So during my experiment, I kind of boiled it down to there's 3 keys to success on LinkedIn. You got to build that strong foundation. Focus on helping others. There's so many people out there saying, buy from me, spamming, buy from me. They're going out there, they're not building relationships. They're just trying to sell. Instead of the other way is help others and business will come to you. And be consistent. You have to use it periodically, like at least every day or every other day, and be consistent. I'll show you some charts here in a minute that'll show you exactly when I stopped using LinkedIn, I fell off the cliff. It's as simple as that. So consistency is a key to success. So you got to build that strong foundation and think of your LinkedIn profile as a website. When you go to a website, they say people decide within 2 to 3 seconds whether they're going to be engaged enough to stay on that site and click into the site. Your LinkedIn profile is the same way. You need to make it engaging enough that people want to learn more about you. If you just put your job title in as your profile headline, it's boring. There's no reason to people click on and say, I'm a senior vice president of finance at XYZ company. Who cares? There's thousands of senior vice presidents on LinkedIn. You need to differentiate yourself from these other people and grab their attention. So here's my profile, and I'm always playing around with my little professional headline. I recently changed it to growing companies through search marketing and conversion rate optimization. I've put in author of my books there. I've tried different taglines, so I'm always testing different headlines there. And then I see how many people are viewing my profile, and I always want to make that and keep increasing. So I'm constantly testing. Like I told you, I'm the mad scientist. That's my job. Here's a big mistake people make. They try to squeeze in a lot of information in their name field. They put their phone number sometimes, or they put their website, or they put in all their certifications and accreditations. And most people don't know what most of those initials stand for. And here's an example. Lynn Ryder's put just too many abbreviations in there, so her professional headline is cut off. She's a human something. She might be in human resources. She might be, who knows? But nobody really knows what SPHR may be, or MS. We know Master of Science, but Six Sigma Black Belt. That doesn't mean anything to a lot of people, unless they're in that industry, but they want to know from that professional headline how you can help them. So complete your profile to at least the all-star level. I've never seen it go above this. They always leave that little white spot to make you think you got to keep working on it. And they're always prompting you to add more to your profile, to keep adding more fields to your profile. So they want you to just put more and more information so people can get to learn more about you. So get to that all-star level and things really start to take off for you. Make at least 500 connections. You'll never display more than 500. It always says 500 plus, but when you hit that 500 mark, it's like magic because LinkedIn works on first, second, and third degree connections. So once you hit 500, it seems like your second level connections exponentially grows, and it just gives you you're one step away from thousands of more connections that can easily introduce you. And it seems like you show up more in the search results when you hit 500 connections. LinkedIn doesn't officially tell you this, but I've heard it time and time again from other LinkedIn experts that you just seem to appear more in search results. So here's a professional headline. Ann Wolf, sorry Ann if you're on the call. Her professional headline is artist in healthcare. Like if you see this in the sidebar in the right column of LinkedIn, they'll say you should connect with this person because of different kind of associations, different groups maybe you're connected to or skill sets. But here she has two different careers basically. Is she artist or is she in healthcare? How can she help me? Would I want to click on that? She didn't put a profile picture in. So that's really turns people off. People aren't going to engage with you. Here's Matt Galogli. He's one of my students, and he used to have CEO of the Cyrus company here as his. I said, Matt, how do you help me? How can you help people? What do you do to help companies? So he put his USP in there. And it's growing companies 35% or more a year guaranteed. So it's his USP. That's how he helps people. That's when he meets him in an elevator. This is what he does. What do you do for a living? He says, I grow companies 35% more a year or guaranteed. So grab their attention. He has a nice engaging photo there and it makes people want to click on it. Here's my friend Tom. I always laugh at this one because I found this and I had to bust his chops because his friend put this up, took his picture, and Tom's not looking for a job. He's settled in his career. So he says, I don't care. It's okay, but it's just make a good first impression. And they'll say what you place on the internet doesn't seem to ever disappear. This picture will show up somewhere. It may come back to haunt them in the future. So always use a professional headshot. Don't use vacation photos or pictures of your full from waist up or anything. Make it a professional headshot and just make that great first impression that makes people want to engage with you. So you have to be smiling. Don't be stone-faced. Just make them want to click on it, like Matt's. So here's Matt's. That's a very friendly look. Tom's scaring the hell out of us. Another key is use keywords in your profile, especially in your summary. So you can add skills with certain keywords. You can put keywords in your professional headline and in your summary. Now, LinkedIn is just a big search engine, just like Google. And in the old days, you used to be able to rank well in Google by just adding lots of keywords over and over in your content. LinkedIn's the same way. They haven't caught up with Google yet with that algorithm. So you could actually spam the search engine and get really high rankings in LinkedIn if you use the keywords too much. And here, this person's used LinkedIn Expert over and over, and it's okay because it's not too much. You see, it reads pretty well. But sometimes I've seen people use in that many words, probably 30 or 40 times, they would say LinkedIn Expert, and they rank #1 for LinkedIn Expert. But when people read that, it doesn't sound professional or make any sense. So you think, okay, this person can't write English properly. They're just spamming the search engine. Would I hire this person as a LinkedIn expert? So the next thing, helping others. And this is where you can really differentiate yourself from the others. Because unfortunately, as LinkedIn gets more popular, just like anything, people looking for the shortcuts come in and try to spam it and get quick results. And sure, they can get quick results and quick business, but they don't do long-term business with companies. They don't build long-term relationships with people that come in and spam you or do shortcuts. So the way I help people, it's whenever I come across interesting articles, I'll share them. If I write blog posts, I'll share them in my status updates. As I come across videos or interesting articles, it's just something that my network would benefit from. I share it with them and add my comments to it. And recently they added, you can do the @ sign and the hashtag just like on Twitter. Like if you're mentioning somebody by name, you can put their Twitter handle there or their LinkedIn name and it'll link to them. Share content from LinkedIn today. Now, every time I mention LinkedIn today, everybody goes, what's LinkedIn today? It's been around. It's one of the big enhancements they've done. And it's like iGoogle or the Yahoo start page where you can customize content. If you want the Wall Street Journal articles and you want Huffington Post and you want YouTube videos, you can build that content on your iGoogle page, which is going away tomorrow actually, but Yahoo start page. So you have one place where you get a snapshot of all the news and information you want on one screen. LinkedIn today is the same way. You can subscribe to different influencers. You can subscribe to Wall Street Journal content, lots of different content and channels where it's all there. And it's really easy to share it with your network. You can click it, you can like it, you can comment on it, and it's just, you can distribute it all throughout LinkedIn very easily. So when people in your network share information, it's good for you to comment on it and to like it or share it. If you only do it if you really think the content is valuable. Don't just do it to do it. But what I like to do, if I'm interested in it and I see a lot of people have liked it already or commented, I'll add my comment to it. I'll like it because that shows up in not only my network, but also their networks. So you get exponential results. If you have 2,000 people in your network and she has 4,000 people in hers, it's going to go out to all those people. They're going to see that. So that's kind of an 80-20 there, how to get more, biggest bang for your buck. You can comment and like on articles that have no activity, but nobody's going to see it, so why bother? Here's another new thing they've added recently. So if 2 or more people in my network are talking about the same article or sharing it, here's an article from Inc.com. So if I comment on this or like it, my network's going to see it, and both of their networks are going to see it. So I'm getting triple bang for my buck by commenting on this. So don't just do it to do it. It has to be something you're really passionate about or you're knowledgeable about. But add your comments and your message is going to go out to 3 networks instead of just your network. Endorsements is something everybody is still trying to figure out what the heck are endorsements. It's something they added because people weren't giving recommendations because they take too long. So they added, you look at your skills that you have listed in your profile, and then it pops up. And if you want to endorse this person, if you think Declan is good at online marketing and SEO, you can endorse them just by clicking endorse. So it's really easy to endorse people. The bad news is I get endorsements all the time from people I've connected to, but I've never done business with. So how would they know I'm an expert in that field? Who knows? But I don't know if this is going to be around for long. People just think it's not very valuable. One thing I do know, I used to do a lot of SEO myself, and a lot of people have endorsed me for SEO. But in the last year or so, I'm doing less SEO and I'm doing more pay-per-click and other kinds of marketing. So I need to put more content out there so people get the perception that I am a pay-per-click marketer more than an SEO person. So they'll endorse me more for these other skills that I have. Here's recommendations. I really try to do 1 recommendation a week for people that are in my network. I don't just do them unless people deserve them. A lot of times when I work with a client, when I'm done with a project, I'll endorse them if I enjoyed working with them, and probably 9 times out of 10, they'll endorse me back or recommend me back. So it's a great way to get your clients to write recommendations for you, and you don't even have to ask them. You recommend them and they get the reciprocal recommendation back. I mentioned this earlier, send a personal note when you're connecting and after you're connecting. I bought this book, Get Slightly Famous, a long time ago from Steve Van Yoder, and we connected. I sent him that little message. I said, I bought your book, Get Slightly Famous, years ago on a recommendation from Robert Middleton. Thanks for connecting. I need to read your book again to help promote my LinkedIn and Twitter books. And he said, it's good connecting with you, especially as a longtime reader of Get Slightly Famous. I'd like to know more about your LinkedIn, niche, and books. I was looking for solid information on social media. So we've established a deeper relationship. Just because I took 30 seconds to write that message to him, we've connected now. We're exploring ways we can do business together. So just that 30 seconds is going to go a long way, because I know Steve's a great author and he's very powerful in his niche. Another trick is comment, like, and share company updates. So if there's companies you want to do business with or in your niche market, follow them, because they're going to be posting lots of content on their company page. And if there's like LinkedIn, the company, there's thousands of people, probably 40,000 people following them. If you comment on posts that are on the LinkedIn company page, all those people that are following that are going to get notified of that if they have it turned on in their profile. So your message is going to get out to all these people. So find out where you want to do business. If you want clients in a certain industry or a certain company, follow those companies, participate in the content, and you demonstrate your expertise to that whole niche just by commenting on their posts. You don't have to post on their page, just comment on what they're doing and like it and share it. The influencer post is something that's not recent. It's been out for probably since the beginning of the year. Influencers, they write content, and they're like Richard Branson and some big celebrities. They write a lot of content here. So what you do, a lot of people follow them. Now when they post, you see they get lots of activity. So it's the same thing. Get more bang for the buck. Why comment on a post that nobody has commented on and very few people know that person? Go to the influencers, participate in those discussions, and your message and expertise is going to go out to 30 or 40 or 50 or 100,000 people. And participate in active groups. And I'll show you in a bit here how to determine if a group is active or not. But there's a lot of really bad groups that are full of spam now. But there are some really good groups where you get a lot of traction. Fresh sales strategies, if you're in sales or marketing, This is a great group. It's mostly for salespeople, how to sell, but Jill Conrath is fabulous and puts high quality content on there, and the group is well moderated. So be consistent. Now I'll show you what happens when you're not consistent. See, here's when I started my little experiment. It's the beginning of June, and I posted for 10 days. I was faithful. I did 20 to 30 minutes a day, and I had a steady rise in profile views. Then I got hit with an attack of vertigo, which if you've ever had vertigo, it's horrible because you can't focus your eyes on anything. You just feel like you're falling down all the time. I literally couldn't be on the computer at all some days, and some days just for a few minutes. And you see when I stopped sharing content and helping others, my profile views just dropped like a rock. Then I started feeling a little better. I started getting back into it. Then I went on vacation. It dropped again, July 13th. And then I got active again, and it started climbing again. So there's a direct correlation with your LinkedIn activity and your profile views, which makes perfect sense. And here's my website traffic. It's the same pattern. The more active I was on LinkedIn, traffic increased. Days I wasn't engaged or didn't do as much on LinkedIn, traffic dropped off. When I went on vacation, it dropped off, and it started rising back up. Then you can see every time, you can see whenever I left town and was on business trips or speaking at events, my LinkedIn activity would drop off, and you can see my web traffic dropped off. So what I learned, when I was fully focused on my daily LinkedIn visits, the number of views in my profile increased. Number of likes in my posts, sharing my content, everything increased when I was really focused and engaged. Some days I said, oh, I'm doing my 30 minutes. I'd set my little timer, and I really wasn't engaged. I would be kind of drifting and surfing. Like, we all have those days where you're just not as focused. I got no engagement. So it's really got to be focused and have a goal, have a plan, what you're trying to accomplish that day. I could generate more engagement in 10 minutes of focus time than 30 minutes of unfocused time, which that's just like anything in life. If we're doing any kind of work, if we're really focused, we can crank it out. If we're just kind of drifting, you don't get much done. I also discovered Saturday is a really good day to share content and engage others in conversation, in forums and on discussions. Because on Saturday, a lot of people work, but they're doing catch up. They're not in meetings all day and they don't have a busy schedule. They just come in, maybe work 3 or 4 hours in the morning. And I find Saturday mornings, when you share content, you seem to get a lot more engagement from people. So have a plan. You always want to send personalized emails to people you connect with and let them know why you appreciate them connecting with you. Focus on interacting in no more than 2 or 3 groups at a time so you don't spread yourself too thin. I was trying to do 7 or 8 groups at a time, do a little bit each day. It just didn't work. When I picked 2 or 3 really good groups, I got a lot more traction. Never self-promote in groups. Focus on helping others. And they'll get to know, like, and trust you, which builds those long-term relationships. So think long-term. Don't go for the quick hit and try to get a short project. Think long-term relationships that you're going to be working with these people for years. Always send those personalized invitations too, because those canned messages, you can just click, click, click and connect, and most people will accept it. But when you take a minute and write a personal message, it builds a deeper relationship instantly. And don't forget to have fun. So the power of 80-20. The Pareto principle. Everybody's heard this, I'm sure. 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes. And Pareto, I didn't know this. He observed this. 20% of the pea pods in his garden contained 80% of the peas. And that's how the Pareto principle all started. And it wasn't until really the business management consultant Joseph Juran suggested the principle. He discovered 80% of the land in Italy was owned by 20% of the population in 1906, and had read about the Pareto principle, and that's why he kind of associated it with that and named it that. So let's get into some 80-20 basics. We all know this is an example from Perry Marshall's book. 80/20 Sales and Marketing. It's a fabulous book. I highly recommend picking it up at perrymarshall.com. He says 80% of the traffic travels on 20% of the roads in your town. And I thought about that. And there's lots of streets and roads in our town, and probably 80% of the traffic travels on 20%. So if you do that again, 80/20 squared. So I do the 80/20 on that 20%. 64% of the traffic travels on 4% of the roads. And I thought that's pretty much true. There's like 2 or 3 really busy roads in our town and a lot of roads with little traffic. Then you do one more time, 80/20 to the third. 52% of the traffic travels on 0.08 of the roads. Like, that really says it on my town. There's like literally 3 streets that contain over half the traffic. And so the 80/20 works really well for that. So if you go to 80/20curve.com, Perry built this application where you can play around with it and you put in numbers and you'll be amazed at how true the 80/20 holds for just about everything. So here's an example. If 1,000 people come to your website and 50 spend $100, how many would spend $500? So you can look at this chart and you say, okay, 50 people spend 100. So that means there's still some people that would spend more than $100 with you. And they'd spend up to $400 maybe. So, but they maybe wouldn't spend $400 on that $100 product. But if you sold them something for $100 and then emailed them, offered something for $400, 10 of those people would buy that. So you can increase your sales from 100 to 500 very easily by just knowing that a certain percentage of people that just bought from you are going to buy more from you. So let's look at LinkedIn plus 80/20. Where do you spend your time on LinkedIn? And I've gone through a lot of LinkedIn already and showed you some shortcuts, but we'll cover it again here. Here's your stream. This is all that scrolls by you. You can waste a lot of time here, but you can filter out. If there's a lot of people posting a lot of garbage, you can filter it out so you don't see their posts all the time. That's really a good way to really streamline your news feed that streams through. You can waste a lot of time following companies, but it's good to find a few good companies that have a lot of activity and totally get it. The company pages on LinkedIn are important, and participate on those pages and you'll get lots of traction. Here's LinkedIn today. There's news, there's influencer posts, there's all influencers, all channels. So here's where you customize the content that comes into your news stream, your LinkedIn Today stream. So I look for people that are real thought leaders in the industries I want to either consult in or I want to be a thought leader in. And I subscribe to those and participate. Here's the news. So you get CNBC, you can get Wall Street Journal, lots of different feeds of news that come through. And people will comment on it, they'll like it and share it. So groups is, LinkedIn groups started out pretty good, but they've started to become very spammy. A lot of them are very spammy and not well moderated. I'll show you how to avoid those groups here in a second, but you want to find a couple of good groups and participate, and you're going to get a lot of traction from that little bit of activity. And the key is, again, focus on helping others and not self-promoting. Here's the advanced search. This is where you can search either people, jobs, groups, and you can dig deep into the LinkedIn database. So we'll be covering this in an upcoming class, but this is the key to success on LinkedIn. You can find anything in here business related. There's so much valuable information people are putting in their profiles. So you really need to learn how to use this and use it efficiently, because it can get pretty complex and you can waste a lot of time. So we'll be covering this in more detail in the class. So you got to know which activities are bringing you the most return on your time investment. That's why you need to measure where you are, how much activity you have in your profile now, and how much when you do certain activities. So if you do certain things in groups and you're not getting any traction, don't do that anymore. You focus on a different group, or sharing content or spending more time on company pages. So you create your plan. What's your LinkedIn objective? Are you looking for a job? Are you a salesperson looking for leads? Are you a small business owner looking for people to work together with? What's your goal? You have to have a real clear objective. And then just take screenshots of everything on your profile. I'll show you a few here in a second. But so you know where you are, and then as you do activities, you can see if it's moving in the right direction, wrong direction, or not at all, and then you adjust your plan. And we'll find those quality groups, stay focused, join existing active conversations in groups and on LinkedIn. You can start your own conversations. Like I'll do tweets a lot of times and I don't get much traction, but if I reply to someone's tweet or retweet it, it gets a lot more traction. Same with discussions on LinkedIn or Facebook. If you join an already active conversation, you're going to be seen by a lot of people already. But if you try to start a new conversation, some may pick it up, some may go viral. It might hit a home run, but chances are, if you want to do the 80-20, focus on already existing popular conversations and add value to that. And comment, like, and share content from LinkedIn everywhere. And if you have a company page, you need to have a company page. Post on it frequently with lots of good information and get people to follow you. Invite people to follow you as much as possible. And measure, 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 and adjust your plan and keep measuring. So here's a screenshot of how many people viewed my profile in the last 3 days, how many times I show up in the search, my connections, and then there's my whole network that have joined just in a day. I did this screenshot yesterday, and so 73,000 new people in my network in one day because I've got 2,000 connections. So you have to decide how many connections you really want. If you get a lot, you're going to get a lot of noise on your LinkedIn, but it's good. You get more exposure. So there's pros and cons to each way. Some people have very small networks and they don't want all that noise, but they don't get as much business from LinkedIn. Who's viewed your profile is very valuable. I see people that have come to my website through searches or through comments I've made or posts. So they found me on LinkedIn and now they're checking me out. So a lot of times I'll reach out and connect with these people for one reason or another. If they look interesting or they're going to add value to my professional network, I'll connect with them and I'll write a little note saying, hey, I noticed you're in this group with me and I like your conversations, or do some little personal note to start that connection. And you see on the right, I've been slacking off quite a bit lately with my LinkedIn activity because I'm not looking for a client right now. I've been doing a lot of speaking and working on other projects. So you see my LinkedIn activity has dropped off significantly. So I need to find a way to, well, I can just turn that faucet back on. If I get more active, get more profile views, then I could pick up another client or two. So that's why it's nice. I have that luxury of only having to want 3 or 4 clients. So I don't have to be out there every day blasting a lot of content on LinkedIn or being very active. Right now I'm spending probably 15 minutes a day, 3 to 4 times a week. Keywords, I'm not sure if this does us any good. People searching for the TED website, I think, find me most of the time. That site course where I used to work, and they're spelling my name right. That's a good thing. This is valuable because I'm primarily marketing and advertising, but I also have a lot of connections in the internet space and professional training and coaching. I'm a certified coach. I work with some financial services people as clients, and I've been in the IT industry for 30 years, so I connect with a lot of people there. So you really want to make sure you're getting traction from the industries you want. If you're looking to be strong in professional training and coaching, then you need to really engage with more of those people, get more of those connections, and participate in those groups more. So that's your top industry. Where are your viewers? Obviously, I'm in the United States, but if I notice there's a lot of people in the UK viewing my profile and connecting with me, maybe I want to start doing classes in the UK if they're finding me there, or Australia or some other country. If you notice that one really stands out, look into doing business there or connecting with more people there. Now here's finding quality groups. This is really important because, as I said, a lot of the groups are getting very, very spammy these days. So you have to look for groups that are very active, but they're also well moderated. See the jobs, obviously that's the biggest group on LinkedIn. There's over 9,000 discussions this month, over 1.5 million members. I'm not looking for a job, so I won't get into that one, but social media marketing looks like an interesting group to me. You see there, it says very active, 5,904 discussions this month. There's 692,000 members, and 95,000 are in my network. That means they're first, second, or third degree connections. So that looks like a very interesting group for me to explore. I'm not a member of it. So I click on that, and here it gives me some demographics of it. It tells me, here's a summary. 692,000 members. There's 516 comments last week, so that's fair activity. It tells me where the location and the seniority. That's just kind of a snapshot of the group. Here's the demographics. Most are in marketing, and it's senior level, a lot of entry level people, so that's kind of a red flag for me if I'm looking to work with executives. If I'm looking to work with CXO or directors, it's only 15% of the group total, so this may not be a good market for me to engage or a group to engage me with. But there are senior level people and managers who could potentially hire me, and owners. It's always good to look at the growth. They added almost 4,000 members last week. As you see, the group has kind of had its ups and downs with membership over the time. And a lot of LinkedIn experts, almost all of them say, start a group, start a group. You're going to get thousands of people on your email list in no time. It's the best way to build a network. Look how long it took this group to establish any traction. It went on for a few years before it actually started. So if you're going to start a group, you need to commit to promoting that group. You need to commit to having lots of moderators in the group to really keep the spam down, because once you start getting spammed, they all just seem to flock to it, and they can just do all these posts where they're self-promoting over and over, and the value of the group is nil. So there's one group I belong to. They have 25 moderators. And what you do is, as your group starts getting traction, you see the most active people, you reach out to them and say, hey, would you like to be a moderator of my group? And they are so excited, like, oh, I'm so honored. I'm a moderator of this group. So this one group has 25 people that are flagging people, that are spamming and reaching out to people saying stop self-promoting. And that's really, groups take a lot of work and effort, but they can be very valuable for your company. And here's the activity: comments, discussions, jobs posted, and promotions posted. So you want to look for something with lots of activity, good traction, but it's not just quantity. You have to look at the quality. So let's look at one of the discussions. What's the meaning of social media to you in 1 or 2 words? It's like, this discussion was started 9 months ago. It's got over 3,000 comments, 431 likes. But look at the last couple of comments here. Bill Lee has posted 2 links to his get911gascard.com, where he's spamming. And Joyce Bernard is dripping. So they're obviously just spamming the group, and the moderators aren't deleting these. So you want to make sure that the moderators clean this stuff up. I looked at some other posts in here, and these are just a few hours ago, these posts, but the moderator should be flagging this person and blocking him from posting. And in LinkedIn, if you get flagged as a spammer now, every post you make in any group has to be approved by the moderators. So they need to moderate this better. So this isn't a group I'm really going to join right this moment because of this, because I don't want to waste time. I'm looking at 80-20. Where am I going to get the biggest bang for my buck? Follow popular companies and comment on their updates. There's 43,000 people following Entrepreneur Media. That's the publishers of my book and Entrepreneur Magazine. So if I comment on this page, 43,000 followers are going to see that in their stream. So it's a great way for me to get traction. And there's one post I commented on about a year ago, and every day people are still commenting on that thread, liking it and sharing it, and they're liking my comment. So it's gotten a lot of traction. So I find really active conversations like that and just add my 2 cents, provide valuable input, add value to the conversation, and you get traction for over a year now. It's ridiculous. So that saves me so much time. It's driving people to my website. I showed you this before. Join in your network's discussions. When you see your network's talking about, every time you comment, it's going to go to your network and their networks. So you're going to get lots of bang for your buck. This is a good 80-20 right here. You're doing a little bit of effort and it's going to go out to a lot of people. Influencer updates is another way. It's a great 80-20. Jeff Weiner's the CEO at LinkedIn. 846,921 followers. He's only done 20 posts, but this particular post, 495,000 people have seen it. They viewed it. Almost 3,000 have liked it, and over 1,000 have commented on it. So if I comment on this, there's over 495,000 potential people, or 846,000 potential people who could see that comment. So this is a great way, a great 80-20 right here, where you do a little bit of work, read what's going on, add value to the conversation, and don't self-promote, and you can get a lot of bang for your buck. Another trick is over on the right side, you see top posts. You can see who's got the top posts today, this week, and all. Adam Grant has a post that has over 31,000 views just today. So what I would do is jump on that one, go over there, read it, and if it makes sense for me to comment and participate, I'm going to get a lot of traction because that's a hot conversation right now. 31,000 views in one day. So in conclusion, we explored the power of LinkedIn. You've got to be on LinkedIn because people are looking for you there. They're checking you out. So at least complete your profile. We saw how 80-20 can exponentially improve your results with less effort. And now you know how to get maximum results from LinkedIn by applying 80-20 principle. A little bit of work gives you a lot of publicity. So let me ask you a simple question. If I could teach you exactly how to use LinkedIn to create unlimited clients forever, would you let me teach you? Now think about that for a moment. I've spent hundreds of thousands of hours on LinkedIn figuring this stuff out. I am willing to teach this to you. What would your life be like if you could create clients on demand like I do? I literally have created this incredible lifestyle for myself where I've been traveling all over the world speaking and in business and vacations, and people just keep commenting on Facebook. Oh, you're here, there. You're never home. You're having such a great time. No more worrying about cash flow. You just turn on the faucet. Spend less time at work, more time with your friends and family. I've created this lifestyle. It's taken me many years to get there, but I know how to get there now. I'm here. Live the life you deserve. Now that's a very big promise, I know, but I've done it. Let me introduce you to my brand new course. It's called Linked Accelerator, and I've taken everything I've learned about business and life for the last 30 years and how I've applied it to LinkedIn for the last 3 years and created this Linked Accelerator course so you can get there much faster than I got there. So what this course is, you get very clear on your business. That's the key. You got to start there if you have your own business, or if you're working for a company, get really clear on your career. Where do you want to go? You know exactly who your ideal client is. You know how to get their attention without spamming them. Build long-term relationships. How to get them to want to work with you. So what makes this course different than all those other LinkedIn classes out there? There's hundreds. You get direct access to me. Now, I've spent literally probably over $100,000 on training in the last 10 years. And I've spent a lot of money for a lot of courses where you get on webinars and they promise access to the speaker, to the expert. And all you can do is type in questions in the webinar box, or you can email them questions in advance and they'll read them off. You never get to speak to the person. You never get to interact with them in any way. I'm not the man hidden behind the curtain like these guys. They charge a fortune. They deceive you, tell you you get full access. You can ask any question you want. But I'm going to be there one-on-one with you on these webinars, answering your questions, working on your profile, working on your LinkedIn existence. So I'll show you exactly what I do. When I turn the faucet on, when I turn the faucet off. It's my intention to make you independent. So whether you work for a company or not, we all know if you work for a company, you're not guaranteed to have that job tomorrow. They could lay you off in a second. So you need to be prepared. So your LinkedIn profile is ready to go if you do lose your job, or if you're looking for more clients, or you want to grow your business. You can create your own cash flow anytime. I'll show you how to generate leads. If you work for a company or you're independent, you need to have leads. You always have to have new people coming into your sales funnel. And I'll show you how to scale it. If you want to grow into a multi-million-dollar business, you can take these same principles and I'll show you how to ramp it up so you can use 80-20 to get to that multi-million-dollar level quickly. Now imagine this for a moment. Imagine knowing how to create a new client whenever you want. What would that do for your business? It's unlike any course you've ever taken. Like I said, I give you full access to me, and I will be holding your hand through the whole process. It's not an outdated LinkedIn course with last year's information. LinkedIn is changing literally every week. I log in, there are changes to the interface, and a lot of these courses you buy are using videos that are over a year old. That's totally useless. You're going to get the tools, knowledge, and tips that work on LinkedIn today. Literally, I record videos every week with the updates of LinkedIn because it's changing so fast and they're improving it all for our advantage. So you'll learn specific strategies you can use immediately for your business because every business is different. You may use LinkedIn a little differently, but I'm going to show you how to use all the tools on LinkedIn to get quick results. Guaranteed. I promise you'll get value. You can attend the first webinar, and if it's not for you, you get 100% return on your money. So how would that feel? So here's some of what you'll learn. How to engage prospects so they trust you immediately. People won't buy from you until they know, like, and trust you. So you can instantly start a rapport with total strangers. Where the decision makers are, who are going to hire you. Where do they hang out on LinkedIn? How to engage with them, how to connect with them. The best times to post content for maximum exposure. Now, Saturday mornings are great, and there's other times to post different content. So we'll work that out for your niche. Profile tips to put you at the top of the search results without spamming the search engine. White hat profile tips, we'll call it, instead of black hat. And more secrets that let you dominate LinkedIn because your competitors are on LinkedIn right now. They're learning. They're taking advantage of this. So you need to be there. Even if you're not looking for a job, even if you don't think LinkedIn is for you, people are coming to LinkedIn and looking for you before they do business with you. So here's what you'll receive. It's 4 weekly online webinar sessions. I'm going to show you exactly how to get instant results in less than 30 minutes a day. We'll do a bonus webinar. If you want to learn about LinkedIn advertising, I'll teach you LinkedIn advertising. If the group wants to learn something else, I'll do that bonus webinar for whatever the group decides. A lot of people don't do LinkedIn advertising, but I'm actually getting really good quality leads for about $5 a lead, which is ridiculously cheap for a qualified lead. And I have a Facebook linked accelerator group where you can ask questions between our training sessions, and I'm always available via email between the training sessions too. And then, like I said, I'm constantly creating new videos to show you LinkedIn features that come out sometimes daily. Driving me crazy in some ways, but it's great that they're enhancing the site because it was so stagnant for years. So what's your investment? You're probably wondering how much it's going to cost. Initially, I usually charge $19.97 for courses because you're getting a lot of direct access. You're going to get over 12 hours of direct access to me through the webinars and through different email interactions and group interactions. So I want to give back to my community. It's getting near the holidays here, and I want to create a lot of new success stories so I can start the year off with a lot of great testimonials. So that means you're in luck. Your investment for the complete LinkedIn Accelerator system is just $497, which is ridiculously cheap. I work with Frank Kern, one of the most successful internet marketers. He says, Ted, you leave so much money on the table. You're crazy. Since it's Halloween, your investment will be just $297 for a very limited time. So if you're not convinced, here's my unconditional guarantee again. Just attend the first webinar. If you don't think it's for you, for any reason, I will give back 100% of your money. You have nothing to lose, so register now. So it's only $297 until Sunday, November 3rd. So through this weekend, go to linkedaccelerator.com. And the first 10 registrants will receive a free 30-minute consultation with me, one-on-one. It's just the two of us. Talk about your business, talk about LinkedIn, whatever you want. And I usually charge $300 an hour, so you're getting quite a deal with that. So sign up now, $297 until Sunday, November 3rd. We'll see you on LinkedIn. Thank you, everybody.